We begin with this Fox News alert about President Trump putting America's nuclear adversaries on notice. This is Outnumbered Overtime. I'm Harris Faulkner. Retired Army Lieutenant Colonel Daniel Davis is with me now, senior fellow and military expert for defense priorities. Good to see you. Let me start with that point. If we are seeing a buildup that we feel like we need to respond to, either technological or physical and weaponry, what does that mean about people in the world who would want to buy things from Russia and China, for example?
Well, there's never going to be any shortage of market for people wanting to buy something that increases their ability to deter aggression or to launch aggression. So it's something we need to continue to certainly to watch out for to prevent to the extent that we can. That's certainly is not in our favor and something we'll continue to keep a watch out for.
So tell me what happens with our adversaries when they see the president talking. And I said straight talk today, tough talk on what we are going to do to prepare for the future, including maybe even in space.
Well, I think it's important that we kind of take a look at this from the strategic level and not get too focused on the physical things, whether the GMD missile sites and adding this certain number of interceptors is look at what we're trying to accomplish. And that, of course, is to maintain security for the country. And then you have to say, well, what is cost effective going to keep us the most safe, both technologically as well as what we can afford to buy. And there's a reason why we haven't seen a lot of this space-based stuff all the way back to the time when Reagan was president. We've spent literally hundreds of billions of dollars over decades trying to accomplish this, and we haven't. Because right now, the fact of the matter is the technology just doesn't exist right now. And what we don't want to do is get into, a new arms race where we start to spend a lot of money on something that may be no more effective than before. Now, important to point out, that's not to suggest that we're any more vulnerable today than we were before Russia talked about this new hypersonic vehicle, because our deterrence is just as powerful today as it was the day before. And the reason why you would not want to fire a missile is not because it might get shot down, but because there might be three of ours going in the opposite direction if they did that. And that still maintains today.
You know, I have some video I want to share, but before I get there, I just want to put a fine point on what you said. So we are not necessarily winning at the cyber war right now. So that's an area where we could definitely put some dollars. And so what you're saying is there's plenty of room to spend money elsewhere as well. Let's talk about, though, this invulnerable test of a missile, this invulnerable missile to our U.S. defense systems by Russia. That was back on December 26th. Tell me what this means in terms of what the Russians have.
Yeah, the fact of the matter is they already have invulnerable missiles. It's not commonly known, but the fact is that ICBMs can virtually not be shot down by any nation, to ours included. And so adding this new hypersonic vehicle makes it a little bit more effective, but we already don't have that ability to shoot those down. So that's not a new capability. It's just sounds flashy.
So why is Russia doing this? This is kind of like a la North Korea a couple of years back when they were, test missiles and whatnot. Why show the world this if you're Russia?
I do. It's exactly the same thing. It's pretty clear to me why Putin's doing this, because it makes him look tough. It makes him look strong, and it makes him look like, oh, I have the upper hand on the United States. But people who understand what's going on behind the scenes recognize, no, you actually haven't done anything new. No new capability. It doesn't give him something, ability he had before that he didn't. And so it's just making him look good. It's a PR fight.
So you heard the multi-platform that the president was talking about at the platform, or rather at the Pentagon. We carried it here live on Fox News. Just a headline or two about something you think the American people need to be aware of and where our capabilities are.
What the Americans need to know is that we are safe. And whatever Russia does, China, North Korea, we are still safe because our military, our nuclear deterrent, and the ability we have to effectively shoot down some of the smaller range missiles, the intermediate and possibly even some of the short range missiles, we can do some of that. So we have it, that increases our deterrent. But our overall missile defense system and our deterrence is what's going to keep us safe. And that's why it's so important for us to keep talking to people.
Real quick, yes or no. Do we have missiles that we can fire that are invulnerable to Russian defenses?
Absolutely. Without question, we do.
Okay. Colonel Davis, good to see you. Thank you.
Thank you.